Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. How many times have you said yes to something when deep down you wanted to say no? How often have you overextended yourself, smiled through exhaustion, or helped someone who never even said thank you? Listen, I get it. You're a good person. You care about people. You want to be liked. But let me hit you with some truth. Being too friendly can be dangerous. It can drain you, leave you exhausted, and worst of all, attract the wrong kind of people who only take and never give. Here's what you need to understand. Your energy is your most valuable resource. It fuels your work, your dreams, your relationships, and your well-being. And when you give too much of it away to people who don't deserve it, you rob yourself of the energy you need to build the life you want. I used to be that person, the one who said yes to every request, who answered texts at midnight, who put everyone else's needs above my own. And guess what? It left me drained, resentful, and exhausted. Until I learned this powerful lesson, being kind does not mean being available to everyone all the time. So today, I want you to do something. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, who or what is draining me? Where am I saying yes out of guilt instead of genuine desire? Because here's the truth. If you don't protect your energy, no one else will. Start setting boundaries. Learn to say no without guilt. Recognize that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. Because when you take care of you, you have more to give to the people who truly matter. You know that feeling when you say yes to something and the second you do, you regret it? That sinking, gut-wrenching feeling that tells you, I really didn't want to do this? That's what happens when you don't protect your energy. And one of the biggest ways we let our energy leak away is by being overly friendly, be giving too much of ourselves to people who don't appreciate it, situations that don't serve us, and commitments that drain us instead of fueling us. Let's be real. We've been taught since childhood that being nice is the key to success. Smile at everyone, be polite, say yes when people ask for help. Don't make waves. And while kindness is an incredible trait, there's a fine line between being kind and being a doormat. When you cross that line, when you start sacrificing your own well-being to keep others comfortable, that's when you start losing control over your own life. Here's the deal. Your energy is finite. You wake up every morning with a certain amount of it. Think of it like your phone battery. Some things charge you up: rest, good food, inspiring conversations, movement, doing work you love. And then there are things that drain you: negative people, endless obligations, forcing yourself to be on all the time. If you keep saying yes to everything and everyone, you're going to end up running on empty. And you can't live your best life if your battery is constantly at 1%. People-pleasing is one of the biggest traps that drains our energy. And let's be honest, most of us do it. We want to be liked. We want to be seen as helpful. We don't want to disappoint anyone. So we say yes when a coworker asks for a favor, even though we're already drowning in work. We agree to meet up with a friend, even when we desperately need a night in. We let people vent their problems to us for hours, absorbing all their negativity just so we don't seem rude. Every time we do this, we're making a withdrawal from our own energy bank. And when you make too many withdrawals without enough deposits, you burn out. And let's talk about something uncomfortable. Not everyone deserves your kindness. That might sound harsh, but it's true. There are people out there who will take advantage of your generosity. They'll keep asking for favors, keep expecting you to be there for them, keep draining you, all while giving nothing in return. And if you don't set boundaries, they will keep taking. The people who truly respect you will understand when you say no. The ones who get upset, those are the ones who are benefiting from your lack of boundaries in the first place. Think about the people in your life right now who leaves you feeling energized and uplifted, who drains you. Pay attention to that. Your emotions are the best indicator of where your energy is going. If you leave a conversation feeling exhausted, that's a sign. If you dread answering someone's texts, that's a sign. If you keep feeling like you're being taken for granted, that's a sign. And it's your job, not their stow. Protect yourself from that. So how do you start protecting your energy? You start by realizing that no is a full sentence. You don't need an excuse. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to apologize for it. If something doesn't serve you, if it drains you, if it makes you feel small or overwhelmed or resentful, say no. It's that simple. Next, stop over-explaining yourself. We do this all the time, especially when we're trying to be nice. Oh, I'd love to help, but I've just been so busy with work and I have this thing coming up and I really need some rest. Stop. Just say, I can't. The more you explain, the more room you give people to push back. And here's the biggest shift: stop feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself. You are not a bad person for choosing your peace over someone else's expectations. You are not selfish for putting your needs first. In fact, when you protect your energy, you actually have more to give to the people who truly matter. When you're constantly drained, you're not showing up as your best self anyway. So by setting boundaries, you're not just helping yourself, you're also making sure that the people who do deserve your energy get the best version of you. At the end of the day, your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. It determines how you feel, how you show up in the world, and what kind of life you build for yourself. If you waste it on people who drain you, you won't have enough left for the things that truly matter. But if you protect it, if you choose wisely where you invest it, if you stop feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself, your entire life will change. So stop being too friendly. Stop overgiving. Stop saying yes when you really mean no. Because the more you protect your energy, the more power you take back over your own life. We've all been there, stuck in a cycle of saying yes to everything and everyone, afraid that if we don't, we'll disappoint someone, miss out on an opportunity, or worse, be seen as selfish. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something you don't actually want to do, you are saying no to yourself. No to your time, no to your peace. No to the things that actually matter to you. And the more you do this, the more exhausted, overwhelmed, and resentful you become. People-pleasing is a habit that sneaks up on you. It starts small, agreeing to help a friend when you're already tired, saying yes to a last-minute work request even though you had plans, answering calls and messages immediately because you don't want anyone to think you're ignoring them. And before you know it, you're stretched so thin that you don't even remember what you actually want anymore. The problem is, we're wired to think that being agreeable and saying yes to everything makes us good people. We associate being kind with being constantly available, always accommodating, and never disappointing anyone. But kindness does not mean self-sacrifice. There is a massive difference between being a good person and being a people pleaser. A good person helps when they can. A people pleaser helps even when they can't, even when it hurts them, even when it means betraying their own needs just to make someone else comfortable. This cycle of constant yeses leads to burnout. You feel drained, exhausted, and irritable. And then you start resenting the very people you're helping. Not because they're bad people, but because you gave too much of yourself and now you're running on empty. But here's the thing, you are not a victim in this. No one forced you to say yes. You did it because you thought you had to, because you thought saying no would make you a bad person. But that's not true. The moment you start prioritizing yourself, you take back your power. You start realizing that it is not your job to be everything to everyone. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to put yourself first. And the people who truly respect and care about you will understand. The ones who get upset, those are the ones who are benefiting from your lack of boundaries in the first place. It all comes down to one simple truth. Your energy is your responsibility. No one else is going to protect it for you. If you don't set boundaries, people will take as much as you give. Not because they're malicious, but because that's human nature. We gravitate toward what benefits us. It's up to you to decide where your limits are. Think of your energy like your bank account. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, it's like making a withdrawal. Every time you say yes to something that excites you, fuels you, or aligns with your goals, it's a deposit. If you're constantly making withdrawals and never refilling your account, you're going to go bankrupt. That's exactly what happens when you overextend yourself. You burn out. You lose motivation. You start feeling like you have nothing left to give. So what's the solution? You have to get comfortable disappointing people. You have to be okay with the fact that not everyone is going to like your boundaries. Some people will be upset when you stop being so available. Some will question why you're not as quick to jump in and help as you used to be. That's fine. Let them be upset. You are not here to live your life based on other people's expectations. And here's the kicker: when you stop overgiving, when you stop saying yes to everything, something amazing happens. You start showing up as a better version of yourself. You have more energy for the things that truly matter. You have more time for the people who genuinely appreciate and respect you. You start living life on your terms instead of constantly bending to everyone else's needs. But here's the thing: setting boundaries isn't just about saying no. It's about knowing your worth. It's about recognizing that you are not obligated to exhaust yourself for the sake of others. You do not have to justify or explain why you can't do something. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an excuse for protecting your own well-being. You also have to recognize that not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should be able to call you whenever they want, expect immediate responses, or assume you'll always be available. You decide who gets your time, your attention, and your energy. The more selective you become, the more you realize how much power you actually have over your own life. The shift happens when you stop feeling guilty for taking care of yourself. When you realize that prioritizing your peace, your goals, and your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Because the truth is, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't truly be there for anyone else either. So stop saying yes out of guilt. Stop overextending yourself just to avoid disappointing others. The only person you truly owe anything to is yourself. The moment you stop letting other people dictate how you spend your time and energy, your entire life changes. You go from feeling drained and unfulfilled to feeling strong, confident, and in control. And once you get a taste of that freedom, you'll never go back. Your energy is your greatest asset. It dictates how you feel, how you perform, and how you show up in your life. Yet most people don't treat it that way. They give it away freely, waste it on things that don't serve them, and allow others to drain them without even realizing it. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, frustrated, or unmotivated. It's because they haven't learned the most important rule of all. Your energy is your power, and it's up to you to protect it. Asterisk, asterisk. Think about the things that light you up, the conversations, activities, and people that leave you feeling energized, inspired, and excited about life. Now think about the opposite, those moments where you walk away feeling drained, depleted, and irritated. That contrast is the key to understanding where your energy is going. Every single day, you are either feeding your energy or leaking it. And the more you leak, the less you have to give to the things that actually matter. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking their energy is unlimited. It's not. It's just like money. You can spend it wisely on things that bring you value, or you can waste it on things that leave you empty. The problem is most people don't even realize they're wasting it. They say yes to every request. They engage in meaningless conversations that go nowhere. They entertain negativity, drama, and toxic people who only take and never give. And before they know it, they have nothing left. This is why you need to start guarding your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your energy determines your mindset. It affects your productivity. It impacts your relationships. If you're constantly depleted, you can't think clearly, make good decisions, or take action toward the things you actually want. You start operating in survival mode, just trying to get through the day instead of truly living, and that's not the life you were meant for. One of the fastest ways to take back control of your energy is to be intentional about who and what gets access to it. This means setting boundaries. This means cutting off negativity. This means recognizing when something is no longer serving you and having the courage to walk away. Because here's the truth. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every invitation needs a yes. Not every argument needs a response. Not every situation requires your emotional investment. The hardest part about protecting your energy is that it often requires you to disappoint people. And for most of us, that's uncomfortable. We've been taught to be agreeable, to be helpful, to not rock the boat. But what if I told you that the more you prioritize your energy, the more you'll attract the right people into your life? The more you say no to what drains you, the more space you create for what fulfills you. The people who truly respect you won't be upset when you set boundaries. The ones who do, they were benefiting from your lack of boundaries in the first place. And that's something you need to pay attention to. Because when you start protecting your energy, you'll notice something interesting. Some people will fall away. The ones who only wanted something from you, the ones who only stuck around because you made their life easier at the expense of your own, will start to disappear. And that's a good thing. Because the people who genuinely care about you will stick around. Another important part of protecting your energy is being mindful of what you consume. It's not just people that drain you, it's the content you engage with, the environments you put yourself in, the conversations you participate in. If you're constantly filling your mind with negativity, whether it's toxic news, social media arguments, or complaining coworkers, you're allowing that negativity to seep into your own energy. And over time, it starts to affect how you think and feel. Boundaries are not walls. They are the guidelines that define how you allow others to treat you. They are an act of self-respect, a way of saying, I value myself enough to protect my time, my energy, and my peace. The problem is, too many people feel guilty about setting boundaries. They worry about coming across as rude, selfish, or unkind. But the reality is, if you don't set boundaries, people will take as much as you give often without even realizing they're doing it. Think about it. If you never define your limits, how will anyone know where they are? If you always say yes, people will assume you're always available. If you never speak up when something bothers you, people will continue doing it. If you constantly put everyone else's needs before your own, they will expect you to keep doing so. Not because they are bad people, but because you've trained them to believe that your time, energy, and kindness are unlimited. The truth is, boundaries teach people how to treat you. They set the standard for what you will and won't accept. And if you don't establish them, you can't blame others for crossing lines they never knew existed. The responsibility is on you. You have to decide what is and isn't okay for you. You have to recognize that setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about creating relationships that are built on mutual respect. Most people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection. They worry that if they say no, people won't like them. That if they stop overgiving, they won't be seen as a good person. That if they demand respect, they will be perceived as difficult. But here's the thing, anyone who genuinely cares about you will respect your boundaries. The only people who get upset about your boundaries are the ones who are benefiting from you not having any. And those are exactly the people you need to protect yourself from. Saying no is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's a statement of self-worth. It says, I know my limits and I am not afraid to enforce them. It doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you care about yourself too. And that's not selfish, that's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are constantly giving without replenishing yourself, you will burn out. You will become resentful. You will start feeling like a prisoner to other people's needs. And that's no way to live. People often think that setting boundaries means making big, dramatic changes. But it starts with small things. It's choosing not to answer that text message immediately when you're busy. It's saying no to a last-minute request when you already have plans. It's telling someone, I can't talk right now, but I'd love to catch up later. It's not letting people guilt trip you into things you don't want to do. It's recognizing that your time is valuable and not giving it away to just anyone. Another thing about boundaries, they are not just about other people. They are also about you. You need to set boundaries with yourself just as much as with others. That means stopping yourself from engaging in toxic conversations. It means not allowing yourself to overextend just to prove your worth. It means being disciplined with your time, prioritizing rest, and giving yourself permission to say, I've done enough for today. When you start setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift. Some people won't like it. Some will push back. They'll test you to see if you really mean it. And that's where you have to stand firm. If you give in, you're teaching them that your boundaries are flexible. But if you hold your ground, you will earn their respect. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify why you're saying no. No is a complete sentence. And the more you practice using it, the easier it becomes. One of the most important lessons you will ever learn is this: you are not responsible for how other people react to your boundaries. Not everyone deserves access to you. That's a hard truth to accept, especially if you're someone who has spent most of your life being available to everyone at all times. But the reality is your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious, and not everyone in your life respects that. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start taking control of your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that just because someone wants their attention, they are obligated to give it. That's not true. Just because someone calls you doesn't mean you have to answer. Just because someone invites you somewhere doesn't mean you have to go. Just because someone shares their problems with you doesn't mean it's your responsibility to fix them. Your availability is not an open invitation for people to take advantage of you. There are people in your life right now who drain you. You know exactly who they are. The ones who only reach out when they need something. The ones who never ask how you're doing but expect you to listen to all their problems. The ones who bring nothing but drama, negativity, and chaos into your life. Every time you engage with them, you feel exhausted afterward. That's not an accident. That's a sign. You have to start paying attention to how people make you feel. If someone constantly drains you, they don't deserve access to you. If someone doesn't respect your time, they don't deserve your time. If someone takes from you but never gives, they don't deserve the privilege of your presence. And make no mistake, your presence is a privilege. Not everyone should have access to your thoughts, your energy, your kindness, or your emotional support. You have to be selective. The problem is, most people don't think this way. They feel guilty about distancing themselves from certain people. They worry about being seen as rude or selfish. They convince themselves that it's their duty to be there for everyone, even the ones who take them for granted. But that mindset is exactly what keeps you stuck in a cycle of exhaustion and frustration. You cannot be everything to everyone. You are not a bottomless well of energy and support. If you keep giving to people who don't appreciate you, you will eventually have nothing left to give. That's why boundaries are so important. Boundaries are how you protect yourself from people who don't respect your time or energy. They are how you filter out the people who only take and make room for the people who genuinely add value to your life. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about deciding who gets to be close to you and on what terms. Think about the most successful, fulfilled, and happy people you know. Do you think they allow everyone to have unlimited access to them? Number, they are selective. They are intentional about who they spend their time with. They surround themselves with people who inspire them, support them, and push them to be better. They do not waste time on people who drain them. And neither should you. One of the hardest things about protecting your energy is realizing that some relationships need to change or even end. There are people in your life who have been around for years, but deep down, you know they are not good for you anymore. Maybe they used to be, but people grow. And sometimes that growth means outgrowing certain relationships. That's okay. It's not a betrayal. It's not cruel. It's simply recognizing that your peace is more important than holding on to something that no longer serves you. This applies to friendships, family, coworkers, and even romantic relationships. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they have earned the right to stay in it. Longevity does not equal loyalty. If someone is toxic, manipulative, or constantly draining your energy, it does not matter how long you have known them. What matters is how they make you feel now.